So I was at this really flashy crypto event in Dubai called CryptoExpo a couple months ago, and I met this guy called Jermaine. And Jermaine is another UK legend like myself who is trying to build in Web3 and get known. But he was one of the few people at that event who was really authentic and caught my attention. So in this video, you're going to be inspired just like I was this morning.
Okay, okay,
How are
okay,
you,
okay.
man?
Yeah, really good. Can't complain. It's been a good year. I'm tired though, if I'm honest.
Tired of what? Tired of the grind? Tired of lack of sleep? Like, what is it that you're
Honest.
tired of?
Yeah, lack of sleep, hard work. I guess I'm getting to the point where probably the last 15, 16 months, it's been non-stop. So no holidays, no breaks, Monday to Sunday, 9 or 8 till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, getting back up doing the same thing. It's been
Wow.
manic.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a real thing, man. It's catching me.
It's catching you now, really.
Starting to catch me.
You know what? I kind of want to dive straight into it then because, like, I'm not doing what you're doing right now. Like, you're in Dubai, you're like making this app, you're trying to get, I imagine, investors and that sort of thing in right now. But I am also on the grind too. And I also do wonder about burnout. Like, you mentioned burnout just there. Like, is it burnout from not getting what you want? Like, is it like I wanna win, but I'm not getting the results I want? Does that lead to burnout? Or is it just like you said, the late nights, or is it a combination of things? Like, what is it that actually leads to burnout?
I think it's first, they say you should never blame your tools. So I'm not going to put the blame outside of myself.
Mm,
So I think it's decisions that I'm making,
right.
conscious decisions that I'm making. So knowing that if I stay up late and then hit it exactly as I was the previous day, that's going to have a knock-on effect sooner or later. So
Mm,
how consistent is it? So they say like it's better to be consistent than to sort of write something hard. But I'm trying to find the both of them, which it's almost like a very bad cocktail.
hmm,
You're bound to drunk. So it's sort of that, if I'm honest. It's definitely not achieving the goals because I think I'm surpassing them. So any goals that I've set, so I have metrics and I try to go for that metric, but I go past that metric and then go to the next goal. But that just makes me more hungry. So then that fuels the burnout because it's like, okay, I want more. So it's a very, as again, as I just said, it's a bad, very, very bad, strong cocktail. I
mm,
don't recommend it. But I
okay.
suppose Elon Musk say stuff like this. Being an entrepreneur, it's a tough thing.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, for sure, man,
it's
for
tough.
sure. Okay, so I guess before we go any further, I want to just like take a step back and let the audience know like who is Jermaine Anderson? Because I met you in Dubai at a really dodgy event. If you remember that Crypto Expo, like, do you remember
I'm telling you. Wow, don't PTSD is a killer.
that? It was not the best events. There's a lot of like scam projects there. Um, like a lot of people just looking to like again take advantage of the crypto industry as opposed to giving real value, which is what you're doing. So just give a brief intro as to who you are and like, your background story.
Okay. Yeah, Jermaine Anderson, CEO and founder of SocialLocket, which is a real estate marketplace. But yeah, as Akeem just said, um, lead up to that event was it's not an overnight success, and I still wouldn't see it as a success because I haven't hit the goal that I'm trying to achieve. But yeah, engineer by trade, invest in real estate over a period of time, and it's sort of a hobby. So coming to Dubai, seeing a problem, wanting to solve it, it was how can you combine those two things in order to solve a real life use case, and also have fun using the technology that you enjoy and getting the best out of the technology, so the blockchain, knowing it's immutable, knowing that nobody can really go in and tamper with it, whereas you can with almost any other technology. So it's making sure that if we're taking an asset or an industry like real estate, you want to build it on top of a firm foundation. For me, there was no other foundation than the blockchain. So Crypto Expo came up, started an opportunity. They approached me to mainly see your project. I like it. Do you want to be a part of it? I've been an attendee of Crypto Expo for some time. Oh yeah, get me in there. So going to the event, as you said, it was heart wrenching. I never saw Crypto Expo like that before.
Oh, really?
First time, it was a third of the attendees. So the size you saw it, it's that going there that day, so it clicked straight away. It wasn't just FTX and Luna. Something's going
Oh,
on within this industry that the people don't like. And yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Keep my lad.
sorry. Yeah, you lagged out for a second, or I did, or someone did.
So sorry. Yeah, it was bad. It was a third of what it's used to be. The projects that I saw there, 90 to 95% of them was very clearly just scam projects. A quick, let me grab your cash and go. And you won't see them in 6 months' time, much less to a year. So that was just like, damn, what's going on? How have you guys let these people in this building to even market these products and take the money from people that actually come in here to make an investment, want to better their future? So that was just like, gave me more fuel to be like, keep going, do the right thing. The trash will sort of fall away and then the strong will survive. But I didn't like it.
100%.
Didn't like it. Won't see me a part of that event ever again.
Yeah, so just to give some context to the viewers, so basically, Crypto Expo is like is it an annual event? It's
Yeah.
an annual that's held in Dubai, and they basically promote like crypto startups go there to promote their businesses and get attention, whether that's from investors or you know attracting developers to come work on their projects or platforms. And when I went there back in September of this year, I saw nothing but scam projects. There was no integrity, just everyone trying to get a quick buck. But then I saw Jermaine Anderson at one of his stands, SocialLocket, and I actually knew who Jermaine was already because I researched who were the speakers at the event, and he was one of them. But when I met Jermaine, he didn't want to speak, and I now know why. But he didn't speak in the end on stage, and he killed it. So, yeah, that's what Crypto Expo is. So I guess the next question is, what is it that you are doing in Web3? Like, what is a problem you solve? Or what is Social Locket?
Yeah. Social locking is a lot of stuff. But
Hmm,
in a nutshell, social locking is to streamline and change the way that we acquire real estate assets. So we have a traditional process, depending on where you are, it sort of falls within the same remit. And it's about trying to use technology rather than manual processes to allow us to A, track that track the acquisition, see where we're at within the acquisition process. And then at the end of that, acquire that asset and have a recorded historical record of it. And then that then gives you the option to manage that asset moving forward, manage your portfolio. From the other side, being the person that possibly sold it as a real estate agent or developer, manage that client relationship. Everything is about relationships these days, and it's how do you make it long term rather than a short term relationship. And that's the success. So that's it in a nutshell. And it takes it that one step further where you want to pass that asset on if you don't want to sell it. And it's how do you smoothly transition into that stage? So having your will asset or splitting it out, dividing it down between certain family members and trying to remove or mitigate the risk of there being an argument or a breakdown in the family. So that's what SocialLocket is in a nutshell. So much more coming to it, and just keep piling on top of what's being done.
yeah, that's mad. I didn't know it was all that. Like, you mentioned wills and stuff. Like, I didn't know you included death into Social Locket. I thought it was just about. I remember when I asked you before, you mentioned like you had a whole backstory to it. It was how like you wanted to find a place, you wanted to find a property, but you didn't trust the estate agents. So how do I know this estate agent is a real one? Um, but now you said there's so much more to it. Like, okay, that's interesting. But I guess it is still like the fundamentals of it is still the same as it was before. You just added more features onto it. Is that what's happened?
Yeah, it's more of the roadmap. So even though some of those things are designed or architected from the blockchain perspective, we haven't architected it from the UI, and that's because people resist change. So we're trying to be very strategic and not throw too much at it. Like, hey, we're trying to totally disrupt or change the business. How do you ladder yourself into the market and still stick to your go-to-market strategy and then find traction and actually find product market? So we've started to find traction. I wouldn't say we found product market fit yet. I think we're literally about to cross over to that.
Wow.
You remember that, if I'm honest, which is encouraging, but I remember that conversation like it was yesterday.
Mm,
It stuck with me for some reason. So that's kind of gave me encouragement on this. Yeah, I'm encouraged.
awesome, man. Awesome. Okay. Can you explain in simple terms how Web3 technology is revolutionizing the real estate industry and specifically in regards to your application?
Yes. So I answer that in two parts, which are both interlinked. One is you are now able to tokenize that asset and tokenize everything relating to that asset.
What does
The
that mean?
social.
What does that mean, tokenize?
So I guess it can be in a simple form, a non-fungible token, which is known as an NFT. Everybody saw the whole APR close, which is a big hack going on right this minute. So it's how do you tie what people would class as a GIF?
Searched who were the speakers at the event, and he was one of them. Sorry, where did that come from?
You know.
That was weird. All right, sorry, go on, go on.
Yeah, so it's how do you tie a non-fungible token, which is a digital asset, to a physical asset or a real world asset, which in real estate, an apartment, a house, a villa, a piece of land. And then if you real world asset, it could be a car, precious metal, fine art. So it's how do you tie these two together and then bridge that gap? So as one changes, meaning that somebody acquires that asset that's recorded, how do you then bridge the gap again to ensure that that's not just recorded manually on some piece of paper in a filing cabinet, but it's actually digitally recorded. So you're backing that for a digital asset and tying them both together.
Got it, got it. So again, it's that trust, right? So how do you have that 100% authentic trust that this happened at this time? And like you said, there was no way to manipulate that data.
Yeah.
Um, I really want to know as well, because you're messing with real estate, right? I know Dubai is a lot more progressive with its laws, well, UAE in general, but like, what obstacles legally have you run into so far?
Mm.
No obstacles at all, just like cruising.
Yeah, I don't think, I guess you would probably agree to this. Having that engineer mindset, you don't really see things as an obstacle. You see it as a problem, and as quick as you see it as a problem, you find like 10 solutions to that one problem.
Yep.
So you become more solution focused. So I can think of the problems and mention them, like, for example, initial partnership with the government, which in this case it was DLD, Dubai Land Department. And that moved really fast, changed halfway through, as in terms of what the partnership was going to look like. Got to the end of it, and I decided I no longer want that partnership, if I'm honest.
Wow.
I will want it eventually, but at this moment in time, I don't think it was critical to the business, and it didn't stop me from moving forward in terms of where social market was going. It was more of a cherry on top of the cake and a partnership to give the community trust. But the island department is very trustworthy. For me, being like a technology enthusiast, what's more trustworthy than blockchain
Hmm.
at this moment in time? Nothing. So even if I go to any of the government officials within the UK, within Dubai, within America, I would still turn around to them and want them to want to recommend a technology like the blockchain because for me, that is the ultimate trust and transparency across the board. And if we start looking at it like that, we sit onto a firm foundation. So yeah, uh, partnerships, I guess, initially was a problem. Seen as nobody or a small fish. So to get that partnership, it's how are you going to bring, or how can you um, impact that brand that you're partnering with? And it's about trying to gain your own traction and visibility, and then service that partner by showing them that you're not a small brand, or you even though you're a small brand, you have big hopes and you're trying to do big things.
Mm.
So once they see that and you can align with them in terms of your goals and values, that partnership becomes easy. And once we formed one, the rest of them just, but they say when it rains, it pours.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Wow, that's so cool, man. That's so cool. Okay, okay. So next question is, what unique features does your platform offer? Because I know there's quite a few real estate Web3 platforms out there. Um, but what unique features does your platform offer that other ones don't?
So I guess, yeah, it's a tough actually. Yeah. Some offer just a digital, I say like a digital listing board. So you can advertise that asset, but then the process to acquire it and pulling in all the other stakeholders, so your mortgage advisor, your accountant, um, your legal team, into the platform and to be a part of the acquisition of that actual asset. I don't see any platform doing that. I'm pretty sure they will, especially after they hear this call. No problem. And I guess another thing is some of them are starting to include this now, but we're slightly all different. So there are marketplaces and CRMs. In the way that I see SocialLocket CRM, it's not just designed to improve the customer relationship between the client and the actual uh, agent or the agency. Well, it's about trying to have visibility of your own portfolio. So, similar thing with crypto, it's taking control of your own finance. So, this is your portfolio. This is the assets you own. This is the stage of the assets. This is the value of it. What do you now want to do next? Here's the metrics. Here's the real time data. This is what's happening through different forms of dashboards. What do you want to do? These are the other assets coming onto the market. Do you want to sell this asset and go into this one? But at the moment, we're now moving into fractionalization, which will say, okay, I don't want to sell this asset, but I want a piece of this asset. And then I want to trade this asset for other assets as I increase my portfolio. So that's coming real soon. Real soon.
Wow, wow. So did I just hear that you're gonna allow people to trade real estate like through NFTs? Is that what you just said? Really?
Yes.
Wow, that is so cool. Like that's one of the things that you heard, like you would hear about how NFTs can be used in real life, but no one's done it yet. But that's super cool if you really are doing that. Um, and again, you mentioned there's no real legal issues. I guess because you're in UAE, right? Like the legality isn't as strict over there.
I'll be honest, there is legal issues.
Uh-huh.
Depending on how we go about it.
Okay.
So what social love is doing, and I don't want to say it out loud at this moment in time, if I'm
Yeah,
honest, because
that's fine.
a
That's
lot of
fine.
people, you know,
Yeah.
manage to solve it from a legal standpoint by just being smart.
Mm.
And we're not breaking any rules. We're doing things very much by the book.
Yeah.
But it has so much benefits to actually socialize it as a company, socialize it as a real life use case for all the end users using the platform. And I think other platforms, other people that don't even have platforms that do this same process in real life know about this. But it's only because I have come close to doing it before and understand that process in the real world. So get rid of technology. How would I have done some real estate acquisitions in the past? And the assets I own them myself. But there's been times where I've wanted to do partnerships or joint ventures with other people. And it's how do you structure that joint ventureship in order to make sure that it's legally bound to the both of you, to the three of you, to the four of you. So in taking that same concept in the real world and applying it to technology problems across the board. So that's a universal thing. And well, it's a global solution. Nowhere in, as far as I'm aware, there probably is, but nowhere in the world can stop that process. The
Wow.
difference is people buying the NFT. That's where we have to make sure we follow certain rules. And it's not necessarily legalities, yeah, but yes, it is. So America, for example, not being able to see what's happening with finance, not being able to invest in crypto, digital assets in the way that other places can. So, solution, block the US IP address. How they get into the system, I don't know. That's not my duty. It's my duty to block their IP address. So I'm following those rules and regulations.
I see. That makes sense now. But you mentioned like it's the buying of the NFT that is where the issues are. And since it's on the blockchain and it's decentralized, like what's stopping me from going to Etherscan and like buying the NFT through there? If you know what I mean, like I can buy it. I don't have to go to your platform to buy it, right? I can go to like Etherscan, put in the right, details, and then click send, and then I can buy it. But this is a problem that all apps will have to face, like not just SocialLocket, because of the blockchain's decentralized nature. Like anyone can technically buy and sell because smart contracts are open source, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
Yes, there's a little thing that social market are doing.
Oh,
Um, we want it to be enjoyable as well. That's one thing I really dislike as an investor myself.
hmm.
It's more stress sometimes than you think it's worth. Only once you've got the asset, you're like, yeah, it's worth it. Going through it, painful. Honestly, it's like, when did this process end? Why can't this person send this document? What's going on? No one's answering my questions. It's a lot of stress. It's like, should I have even done this? Once you obtain it, keys are yours, assets yours. You're now going for the next plan of renovations or letting it out, selling it back. It's different. So I try to make it a bit more enjoyable and almost treat it like how you would treat, for example, buying and selling crypto. Getting into that, me doing that, I enjoy it. What crypto am I buying today? Why am I buying it? How long am I holding it for? When am I selling it? What portions am I selling? And that I find I can't wait to buy more, buy. But at the same time, balance. So we have our own token. We've had our token from CryptoExpo. I was supposed to do the pre-sale there. Held off doing the pre-sale because I didn't think it was the right time. There needed to be more education around the platform and just what we're trying to do. So now we're gearing up for the pre-sale, but it's almost like hasn't been done yet for a smart contract and hasn't been done yet for the platform. You have to hold a certain amount of our tokens in order to gain access to these NFTs. So that's how we're planning to try and make it. And then we're trying to ladder it in terms of how much tokens do you hold? How much can you invest in these NFTs? So we have our own decentralized exchange, not like Uniswap, not like PancakeSwap, very limited features, but it allows you to exchange your token for your NFT and vice versa and record that transaction. I guess similar to how you would see with Binance, with Bitcoin, with Coinbase, your transactions that are being made on the blockchain, how much that transaction costs. So that's about to come, if not before the Christmas, if just after the New Year. It's designed, it's been tested for a long time, and just been holding back, not putting it out there. But that's about to come as well. So yeah,
Nice, man. I do remember you mentioning that to me as well. Crypto Expo, you mentioned you were doing a token, but at the time it wasn't the right time to do it for exactly the same reason you just said. That's great, man. That's great. So the pre-sale's coming soon. Um, I might get in that. Okay, and next question is, oh, this is a great question. So user experience. So just then you mentioned you want Social Locket to be a fun experience, right? Because you mentioned how painful it is to acquire new assets, and that's true. Like I've never bought real estate, but I've heard of, the process of how it can be so slow, so painful, so on and so forth. How will SocialLockets user experience be? Because think about traditional Web3 applications. You need a crypto wallet. You need to know all this crypto lingo. Like, how are you going to Web2ify SocialLocket so it can onboard the masses? Like, what is your plan? Like, how will it do that? Or is it doing that already?
no, it's not doing that already. And I guess that was one of the downfalls, if I'm honest. I did kind of look at social market from a Web 2 and Web 3 project. But when it came to the actual acquisition itself, I honed in on the Web 3 and almost forgot about the Web 2 users, even though the platform is designed in that way. A very quick solution is, again, change management. Change the traditional process. So if you don't have a wallet, you can still purchase it using your normal banking system. So if you want to use PayPal, if you want to use your bank card, just as you would normally go through that process. So just traditional fiat to make sure that there's a long-term solution, which I think changes the structure of SocialLocket. I'd have to take a stop before I just make that decision, is to have its inbuilt wallet, just as you do with Binance. So Binance is very similar. KuCoin is very similar. It's connecting to the blockchain. It's sending your assets back and forth. You don't actually interact with your wallet or have to connect to. You connect to an app. The app manages it for you. So security is going to be a big thing. Still, well, the security is a big thing. Security around that is a very big thing. So it's making sure, have you made those modules or that specific functionalities as secure as possible? Because it's keys, and those keys, just like a password, you can't follow the same process as your password because of the way that things need to be hashed and etc. So yeah, that's the goal.
Nice, man. Yeah, it's good that you considered it because a lot of projects haven't, and they just think, oh, everyone's gonna know how to use a wallet, and everyone's gonna figure out how to do all these complicated cryptographic interactions. But nah, man, it's definitely one of the biggest bottlenecks in Web3. So it's good that you're considering it. Um, Next question. I guess I'll ask a couple more, then I'll let you go. Um, I guess future developments. What future development or features are you most excited about introducing?
Fractionalization. Come on.
Oh yeah,
Uh, Currently working on it right now. Blockchain side of it or smart contracts, I believe is done,
wait,
tested,
real
ready to
quick.
go.
Sorry, real quick. What is fractionalization?
Come on, you're killing me today. Actualization, you're really testing me. And I guess make sure you know what you're talking about. Don't just be selling something and you don't know what
That's
it is.
it, man. That's it. That's it.
Basically, having something, have a piece of paper. So you have this piece of paper, it's one asset. There's a piece, that's a fraction. I best make sure there's nothing important. That's a fraction. So it's taking an entire asset, in this sense, real estate, and splitting it up. And the owner of the asset has the choice of how many fractions they split it up into. So you could split it up into 100 pieces, 200, 1,000 pieces, and the amount of pieces will determine the price of them. And each piece could be valued at a different price because just, for example, a piece of land, different amount of a piece of land comes with square foot. So how many pieces of square feet are you splitting it up into? Some could be one, some could be two, some could be four. And that could be priced at this, X, Y, and Z. So that's fractionalization as a whole.
Oh, okay, okay. So like in terms of let's say I own an apartment complex, could that mean like one unit is owned by this person, another unit is owned by this person? Is that how it would work in reality? Like if I own it like a 16 unit complex, would one unit like each unit would be owned by a different person? Is that fractionalization?
Yes, so it depends on who's. If you was the owner of the entire complex,
Yes.
there was a group of you that was the owner of this entire complex. Yes, but I would still look at that. It is fractionalization. But I would still look at that as just the normal buy and sell and the normal letting process.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think let's take it the next step further. So you own this 16 unit complex and you split one of those units into another 16 pieces. Then you take the unit beside it and split it up into 32 pieces. Then you take the unit beside it and split it up into 64 pieces. You're getting me excited now. So
Jeez.
it's taking it as far as you can. And the reason is because I remember when I first got into real estate, how I had to do it. And it was having two jobs and saving, saving, saving. And that's how I got my first asset. And they say once you get on the ladder, the other one's easy, which it was because I had money saved. I could take a step back. I was further on in my career. More money was coming in, less money was going out. So it was about financial literacy rather than just about finance. So as inflation started to rise, the cost of living isn't matching that. So most people and it's sad to say, I don't want to say it, but it's reality, aren't going to be able to acquire an asset or going to struggle to acquire an asset. So it's what can technology, someone like myself that's been in that, been through that, help and try and provide a way for them to get onto the ladder in some form and then ladder their way in. And that's opening the doors to everyone. So say, for example, if you fractionalize that asset and each pot fraction was worth $100, £100, €100, more people would have €100, the more people would have £100,000, dollars, or euros to buy that asset. So it's trying to say this is now catering to everyone. And you could turn around and say, I own a piece of real estate, and then ladder in. I own more percentage of that real estate, ladder in. Keep laddering in until you get to the point where I own 50%, 75, 100%, 101% because you've gone into another asset. So that's the thought process. What can you do to help rather than just seeing inflation rise and then people not being able to gain access to these type of assets?
That is so cool. I had no idea that fractionalization was about that. Or at least the way you're describing it, it can be used to help the average person, get into the property ladder. Like that just kind of blew my mind. I thought it was just some fancy term, to just show off like, oh, smart contracts can do this, you can do this with NFTs, but you can actually use it to help people, which is what, it's designed for. That's really cool, man. That's really cool. Um, okay, I guess another question is, can you share a success story or a notable transaction that's occurred through SocialLocket?
Mm, mm. I'd say the success story right now, so I think it's probably best to stay in the latest, is the partnerships that we just secured. So we secured one around 2 weeks ago now, or just under 2 weeks.
Oh, frozen.
I think it is. And since starting Zalaki, I was out my pros.
Sorry, yeah, you flipped for a sec. That you good now, you're good now.
Okay. Yeah, since starting SocialLocket, one of the questions that people posed to me was, how are you going to balance out the marketplace with buyers and sellers? And if I'm honest, when they was asking me that question, I didn't really hear what they was asking me. I was just too busy building it. Like, it was like, don't worry, come on, I know what to do. Partnerships, partnerships. But when it came to the point where SocialLocket was live, it's been live since September, the 1st September, and I was like, okay, partnerships, that's your go-to-market strategy. I didn't have a clue of how I was going to follow them. So I went back and forth, till one day it was just, this is it. You have the platform. No, I went to Singapore online and I saw something on the side of a bus and it said service, solution, and scale. So I realized I had a solution. I can't scale without providing a service. So I had to provide my partners with a service in order to let them know I have a solution and then scale. And then doing that, we formed 3 partnerships with developers, 3 very well-known luxurious developers that are going to be our partners in that supply sector. So yeah, uh, we went from, I guess, nothing to having too much, if I'm
Mm,
honest. So the amount of inventory that we now have got, we're having to re-architect some of the front end of the application because
mm.
it just can't handle it.
Wow.
Back in the day, we were sending the responses to it at
Wow.
such speed that the front end needs lazy load or pagination in order to ensure that it's not overloading the browser.
Of course, yeah.
So it's like we solved one big problem. Now have a little problem in the app. Solve that, move forward.
Mhm.
So that's probably the success so far.
That's great, man. You know what Grant Cardone, one of the billionaires in real estate, always says is, when you're taking massive action, when you have big problems. So big problems is what you want. You want big, new, juicy problems, exactly like that.
Yeah, that car Joe, come on. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear
yeah,
you.
that's it, man. I actually want to ask as well, like, so you mentioned how you realized, you had to. get partnerships and all those sorts of things. Who is your mentor? Like, do you have a mentorship group? Do you have someone helping you out, or are you just figuring it out all by yourself?
Oh, you're gonna make me cry on this call. You're touching my emotional spots now. In theory, in regards to this sector, no, I don't have a mentor. I am craving a mentor, if I'm honest.
Wow.
And I haven't probably done the best to go out there and seek one. So that's not me saying that there is none out there. I haven't actively searched for one. And I guess it's just me thinking that on the journey you will cross paths with that. Well, I do have a spiritual mentor in terms of uh, Christian by faith, and that mentor is there to sort of encourage me more from a spirituality perspective. Even that mentor, a year and a half ago, turned around to me and says, Jermaine, you need another mentor that can guide you in the area that you're going into because I don't have that experience. So I can't give you the information and the support you need in that area. But I will be here for this. But I didn't even think of it. He just advised me one day. I think that's a good mentor, spotting something that's going to come in the future or something,
100%.
trying to guide you into it. I kind of shoved it off until maybe 6 months ago. It was like, okay, SocialLocket's going live. Now I'm getting out of my comfort zone and building it. And it's like taking on that CEO hat rather than a founder hat, my engineering hat. It was, damn, I've never done this in this way before. So who do I speak to? Who could help? Um, I think that will come. It will come. And I will become more active once I get time to breathe and build a team. So yeah, I think it will come.
That's awesome, man, because a lot of people won't take that first step because they want it to be like laid out for them, whereas you just kind of YOLO'd it, went out to Dubai, made social locket and just took action. And that is really impressive, man. Like, even myself, I'll be like, okay, I need a mentor, need to find someone who's done it, which is the smart thing to do. But sometimes just taking that action, or even most of the time, just taking the action is actually the key to success. Like, otherwise, you can't just imagine your way to success. You have to do it right and fail and experience all these hardships and lessons. So that's really interesting to know. Because I thought you had a mentor, man, like someone helping you out this whole time.
No, I honestly wish I did. You've touched a very sensitive spot today, I'll be
Mm,
honest. So when I come off the call, I'll sit with myself for a bit
mm,
and be like, okay, kid, no, I want the support.
mm.
And I believe it's to the point where I'm going to really need that support.
Exactly.
So, yeah. But
100%.
can I ask, because I'm sure, as in speaking to you,
Yeah,
and
go on.
it's the second time we've had a really like in-depth conversation, because we spoke for ages the first time, it was like, keep this, do it. What is the resistance? What causes you to, I guess, I don't know if I should use the word procrastinate or be
Mm.
a bit more resistant to actually just going in? And even if you mitigate that risk, what is it?
What, like me personally going into what exactly?
Whatever's calling you. So you said
What
that
good question, man. Good question. So what's what's a great man, you're getting deep now. You know what? I've been thinking about this recently a lot of like, what is it that's holding me back? Because I know what I want, man. Like, I think we all know what we want to achieve in this life. And I think it's like what others might think. Like, as stupid as it sounds, it's like caring what others think, or like, if I try this thing and I fail, like they're gonna be there. Like, I think it's like a subconscious thing in my mind. But when I really think about it, I know that none of them matter. As soon as I move on, they're gonna be irrelevant anyway, and I'll have new people in my life, new success, and every time I've done that, I've actually that's how I got to where I am now. And actually, when I stop doing that, is when I start to stagnate, and that is what happened this year. Is like I kind of stagnated, and I was like, okay, what am I doing now? Um, and I really do think it's just that I think it's my network. I think I need a new network, which is why Dubai is so attractive to me. Like when I went there and I met you, I met other great people like yourself there. And that really does inspire me to be like, man, I need to get out of the UK to Dubai, be around a great network of entrepreneurial, hungry-minded people, and just like get out of this dark place, you know. So I think
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's just network and the people I'm around and just getting out of my comfort zone.
I guess my encouragement to you, or my response to that is never forget that everything you need is within you,
That's it.
regardless of what it is. It's never outside of us because what is outside of us, what's within you will allow you to find that. So if it's a tool, if it's a person, if it's whatever it is, it's always in you. And a lot of the time, our first response is what's outside of us.
Yeah,
And that wastes time and energy.
true.
So utilize what you have. You've come to this point, and my question to you would be, what in the past have you ever tried to achieve, regardless of how long it took you to achieve, that you haven't been able to achieve? And think back and think how you felt before you set embarked on that journey, what it felt like. But when you got there, it was like, oh, it was easy. So even graduating or getting a job or an interview, what have you ever thought about that you wanted that you didn't get?
Honestly, like again, what I do today, software development. I'm a self-taught developer. During lockdown, I would basically realized I was living a lie my entire life. So my entire 21 years of existence or 22 years of existence, I was just doing something I hated. I was doing what I was told. I had no purpose in life. I was doing drugs every day, drinking, like wasting my life away. And I knew that lockdown was a chance I needed to turn my life around, learn a new skill that I could do anytime and anywhere. But at the time, remember, I had no degree in computer science. I didn't know anyone who did it. I had no connection to the industry. And I was like, where do I go from here? I'm gonna force myself to learn this skill, and no matter how long it takes, I'm gonna get there. And it took me almost 2 years to get my first job, man. It was hard, it was a long journey, but I never gave up. I got it. And now I'm a fantastic engineer today. I'm working for eBay, I can pretty much go where I want, man. And it was hell. It was hell, but like now I'm looking for that next level, which I believe I know what you're saying when you say it's all internal. I completely agree. Like, no matter where you are, I could be in a prison cell, locked up, and I can find meaning within, right? That said, I still believe that your network and the environment you're in does play a big role in your success. So like you're in Dubai right now. Like, why did you pick Dubai? Like, why Dubai? Why did you go to Dubai?
Okay, I have two things to say. You can be in a prison cell and be free,
Yep,
but you can be free and be in a prison cell.
yep.
Again, so that's again just everything's internal and how our perspective is. But I chose Dubai because UK was amazing, if I'm honest. For me, I like it. I miss it. That's
Mm,
the truth.
really?
Yeah, I miss it. I really miss it, man. It's nature. It's just it has so much to offer. While you're in it, sometimes you don't appreciate what you have. So
True.
when you leave it and you look back on it, you're like, I look at it from a different perspective. Now, I wouldn't fully immerse myself back in the UK, but I don't intend to fully immerse myself in Dubai forever either. So it's again like you, where's the next place? So is it Abu Dhabi? Is it Saudi Arabia? Is it Africa? Is it South America? I don't know the answer to it yet, but I don't plan to. It's not where I plan to stay forever.
Hmm.
I never plan to leave it neither. But I chose Dubai because UK was at its peak for me. So I hit every goal that I wanted to achieve there. And that was almost pulling me down to a degree. My, I guess, not so much my network, but yes, I agree, my network. And it was okay. When I say pulling me down, everything coming in was no longer giving me that satisfaction that it once gave me.
Mm,
So whether it was money, whether it was the achievements at a workplace, whether it was getting a certain contract, it wasn't giving me that fulfillment. I wasn't driven anymore. So I needed to find something to drive me again. So I came to Dubai to be honest, just pray, get away from every distraction possible, know no one, spend that time, get to know God again, and build on top of that relationship. And in that 2 weeks, God just changed my life again.
Wow.
And that's what happened. So that's why I'm still here,
Wow.
still listening to his voice and still following what I think he's asking me to do. Which is why I have no doubt of where SocialLocket's going, because if it's left up to me, SocialLocket wouldn't be here. So I don't feel like I'm building it out of my own power.
Mm,
I feel like God's given me something and he's the one that's just orchestrating it.
that's amazing.
I just got to be patient. So that is the Bryce story as a whole. And the minute he's like, look, next place, I'm gone. I don't even think about it twice. Out of here.
And how long have you been in Dubai for then?
Just over 2 years now. Literally, December's my 2 year
Wow.
second anniversary. So yeah.
And like you just YOLO'd it, didn't you? You just went there, you didn't know anyone, you just like went there and set up a business. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I came here for 2 weeks just before Christmas.
Hmm.
I think I was supposed to fly home before Christmas.
Hmm.
I didn't.
Wow.
I didn't get on the plane. And I stayed here for like 3 months, and within that time, I had started SocialLocket within the first 2 weeks. But I had SocialLocket designed and architected and bits and bobs built, but not what it was going to be today. It was going to be something totally different. But
Mm,
if you build your modules correctly, you can reuse them. So that's what I done.
that's it.
Went into, you know, found like getting information on how do I start the business here, how do I register it, bank account, okay, where am I going to live, what area do I want to be in, how much does it cost, how much money do I need,
Hmm.
and I came back to the UK, grafted, worked, saved more money, and I was like, okay, I think I'm ready. And my little brother was like, save more. You think you're ready?
Mm,
You need more. Need more.
mm.
I was like, okay, save more. And then one day I phoned him and I showed him something, and he was like, I think you're ready. And if you're ready to let that go, you're definitely ready. And yeah, it was never my highest paying contract ever. And it was
Wow.
like, okay, I'm gonna walk away from it. It was hard, but yeah, when something's pulling you, don't pull back. Because eventually it's gonna pull you overboard. So just go with the flows, the ebbs and flows.
That's it, man. That's that. Oh, that story there is it's funny because I'm going through what you're going through, what you were going through at the time. You mentioned you went to Dubai and you was a fresh start. You wanted to focus. You know, you wanted to build something big. I'm going through that transition now. Like that's what I know I need to do next, and I've been thinking about this for the past year. So I'll see you very soon, man. Very soon.
I guess one thing I want to say to you, Akeem, is
Mm.
only trade,
What's that?
regardless of any trade, regardless of what you do. So whether it's in healthcare, whether it's in terms of like being a carpenter or in marketing, you have the access to the entire world in that sense because you're providing the service. So just like being an engineer, a software engineer, the doors are not limited. There are endless doors open and available to you. And the world is built. It wasn't before, but now it is built on top of technology. Everywhere you go, it's technology based, and it's becoming more and more frequent. So self checkouts wasn't there before. Soon we'll see like iRobots in the actual stores packing the shelves. These missions,
Yes.
we have it now to a degree with Amazon warehouses. Tesco are doing those things with
Yeah.
suspense, things like that. So it's here. It's about to scale. Be a part of that transition. You have the skills. You've self-taught yourself. Might me too. Self-taught myself.
Hey,
It is. You can keep learning and keep going. So just like how you self-taught yourself to code, self-teach yourself how to get to that next level because you have it within you, and just go for it. Balance your risk. You've got it.
that's it, man. Yo, what a beautiful way to end this interview. Jermaine, it has been I actually needed this today. You know, like some mornings you just like you need that inspiration. You have been an inspiration on this wonderful morning. So thank you for that, man.
Always. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course, man. Well, all the best to you. I know you're grinding. I'm grinding too. So let's keep winning, and I will see you very soon, man.
Okay, so take care and thank you so much.
You're welcome.